India, greed for power, greed for wealth are not acceptable. You see the story of Bali. He was the king and he was so powerful. But he took away his brother's wife and he displeased his brother. Therefore, he was driven by greed. And when you are driven by greed, you invite your death. When you go for sacrifice, you become Maryada Purushottam. So, Ram was not born as God. Through his deeds, through his actions, he went for divinity. Okay, you see, so we have to look into our text to know the values that the Bhagwan Ram stand for. You see, the Ram Mandir is just not a building, it is just not a political manifestation, it is the manifestation of those values that people have forgotten. Ram Mandir is not a place. Okay, Ram temple is the symbolic manifestation of those forgotten values, hmm, that the Bhagwan Ram stood for. Okay, the politics may be different. We are not talking about the politics, but it is the symbol of those values which was uh, which was taught by the Bhagwan Ram to the people. Okay, so you see, old age homes are coming. People are not respecting their parents. People are not respecting their relations. People are forgetting all those values. You see what kind of individualism, materialism, capitalism is affecting our children. So we have to protect our children from these materialistic, this manifestation of greed. Okay, so one thing, that before India was before the constitution came into India, we were living under our culture, our heritage. That was our constitution. Remember one more story. An old tribal woman name was Sabri. She was tasting nuts, that when Ram will come, she will give the those tasty nuts to Ram. Okay, and Ram, who is a king, he never thought that she is a tribal woman. She is a woman of lower status than the status he has, because because the love and affection and the pure heart is the thing that Bhagwan Ram stood for. Therefore, Ramayana is a story not of hierarchy. It is a story of love, equality. Okay, it is a story which shows us that love can buy the heart of any person, how powerful they may be. Uh, you get one more story, a love of husband to his wife. Ram was a king, primarily a king. His wife was kidnapped by Ravan. He could have easily completed the rest of his years, 12 years in the forest, and would go back to his home, to his kingdom, and told everyone that my wife was, lost somewhere in forest, or maybe wild animals ate her. So I can go on marry 2, 3, 5, 10 wives. And he could have easily lived with so many wives because he was a mighty ruler. He has a great kingdom. But that man had so much love for his wife that he fought a war against a mighty ruler. He could have died in the battlefield. But still, he decided to fight war for his wife. Okay, so he did not take the help of his kingdom, his brother. He took help from the people who believed in him. Okay, he fought a war, took a risk, and through that action, he showed the love for his wife. That when no one knows what happened with his wife, with Sita, he showed world that he has so much love that he will sacrifice everything and will go to fight a war for his wife, uh, in a war where he could have died. Then maybe you will have a question, okay, that why he abandoned his wife to go to the forest. I'm giving you the answer. Because the Ram in the forest, when his father sent him to forest, he was a husband. But when he came back to Ayodhya and when he was a ruler, at that point of time, he was a ruler. He was responsible to the subjects. He was responsible to the people uh, on whom he was ruling. Okay. So people questioned, there were questions being raised on his wife, and he had two choices, that either he will leave the throne, leave the responsibility, or he will leave his wife. He soon he soon that when he is a king, he is responsible. He is responsible to his to the state, to the people of his state. So he chose to leave Sita to go to forest and take the responsibility of the ruler. Okay. So Ram goes for to uphold public opinion. He sacrificed his own happiness. He went to forest by the order of his father. He fought a war. When he come back, he was enjoying just a bit of the power or just a bit of comfort. Then again this scenario come where he have to leave his wife. Okay. But that did not stop him from doing his duty. So he does not want power. Okay. He does not want comfort. He wanted responsibility. He wanted to be responsible, and he uphold the spirit of a ruler, how a ruler should be. Okay. So these are the things that we could learn from our text. Okay. These are the things, these are the culture and heritage that India has, and not of greed, not of materialism, and these are the things that we could show to the world. Public opinion should be respected. When Gandhiji was talking about the Ram Raj, he was not talking about the rule of Ram. Okay, he was talking about the spirit, the values that was upheld by Ram. A ruler's duty is to listen to the wisdom of the subjects, and for that you have to make extreme sacrifice. Okay, imagine the life of Bhagwan Ram. He went to his forest, lived most of the time without his wife, then fought a war to get the wife back, coming back to kingdom, but still he has to live on without his wife. He's a lonely man. Okay, a man who cannot express himself to others. So the life of Bhagwan Ram is life of suffering, sacrifice, a life of silent tears. Okay, that's why such kind of people are born once in millennium. Therefore, they are called Maryada Purushottam. So, what is the sociological theory of this? Listen, a man is not born as God. If you find out, if you find out the divine qualities that are vested inside you, okay, then you consider that person either as Jesus Christ or Messiah or like Maryada Purushottam. Okay, the kindness, the good governance, the compassion, the tolerance, the sacrifice. When all these qualities are present in one person, that person is called as God. So the Ram became God by his action, by his deeds. Ram was not born as God. Okay, So what you learn from Ramayana, there are so many things. Women empowerment you can learn from Ramayana. If you kidnap a woman, if you force a woman, okay, then you have to bear the consequence of it. The great destruction of you is inevitable. Therefore, every woman is having dignity. Every woman must be given a chance to live with freedom. Every woman must decide with whom she is going to live. Okay, you may be powerful, you may have might, but if you use force, if you use strength, huh, against a woman, then you have to bear the consequences of it. If you are going for force aggression against women, then you have to bear the consequences of it. See Mahabharata. When Draupadi was insulted, the Mahabharata happened. When Sita was insulted, the Ramayana happened. Okay, so these books are our voices. These books are our voices, and these voices are the lessons for life. Books are not stories, they are voice of culture, voice of values, ethics. Therefore, through this voice of ethics and values, we can map our culture, our heritage. Tell me where in Europe you will find this kind of values, culture, ethics. Their civilization start with war, looting, plunder, money, building, industry. Their culture is materialistic. Our culture is moral, ethical, spiritual. Our culture is different from them. Okay, that's why they have materialistic scholars like Adam Smith. We have Sankaracharya, we have Samhita, we have Purans, we have Jatak Kathas. There are so many things that we have. Huh? You get it? This kind of the the treasure of the Indian culture. It was celebrated by the Orientalists. So therefore, Orientalists were a body of European scholars who explored the cultural treasures of Indian society. And they said that don't see India as land of tribes, snakes charmers. Don't see India as a land of backwardness. Explore the cultural heritage of India. Explore the great traditions of India. That was the Orientalist view. You get it? So they primarily give importance to the interpretation of culture of India by the eyes of the text, by eyes of drama, music, art, craft, literature, symbols, rituals of India. That's how you make sense of India. So this approach was the Indological approach. This was a cultural interpretation to the study of great Indian cultural history. You get it? Which is now being glorified by BJP, RSS. You understand? So when you see these two approaches, Orientalist and Occidental, uh, how if you think what is the different theories or point of view by which you can map India, look at India, then you will find a different approach. We say India is a land of hunger, poverty, unemployment, inequality, landlessness, exploitation. Where is one group in India, which is industrialist, which has so much land? They are exploiting the workers, exploiting the laborers, they are exploiting the group of people who don't have right. So one group of people controls the factors of production. Other group of people are just living on their labor and just being exploited by these people. Okay, so the globalization promotes inequality, industrialization promotes inequality, land and agriculture promotes inequality. So therefore, starting from the colonial period to this globalization period, India is primarily become a land of inequality, exploitation, hierarchy, suffering. So these are Marxist scholars. This is the view of Marxist scholars in India. So Marx died and he left his child in the India who said there are two groups. in India, one who controls the factor of production and one who don't control the factor of production, who are being exploited, who are suffering. They don't have land, they are being subjected to inequalities, exploitation. So this is the Marxist view of India. Marxists see India from the point of view of that there is present two antagonistic classes. The class-based exploitation is taking place in India, and one class is exploiting, one class is exploiter, one class has the uh, control over the mode of production. Okay, so what is the next functionalist approach? Structure functionalist approach. They say that India is a big country. India is a big country with a greatly dispersed population. So some places you will find that cosmopolitan cities have developed. Other places you will find that towns have developed. Some are living primarily on agriculture. So therefore, social change in India is differing from one place to another place, from one point of time to another point of time. The intensity of change is greatly different in India from space and time perspective. So therefore, collect empirical data. Okay, collect empirical data and compare change from one place with change in another place at one time from the another time. So on the basis of that development, you will make a kind of generalization. Therefore, structure functionalism is not giving importance on book view. Book view, the ontological view, which was greatly talking about the text literature, and that is the book view. So book view structure functionalism is rejected. The ontological approach is being rejected by the structure functionalism, and it also rejects the ideological approach to study India. Ideological, the Marxist view of have and have nots. So that view is also being rejected by the structure functional approach. They say that go to Gurgaon and see what happened in last 25 years. What changes have taken place? Literacy have changed, political character has changed, policing system has changed. And then compare it with Delhi, Lucknow, or any other place. And on that comparison, collect data and analyze that data. So, structure functional theory believes in empirical evidences. They go for comparison. They develop generalization. So, functional approach goes for scientific approach. They are the follower of Durkheim. Okay. So, this is the structure functional approach. They say that you cannot uh, uh, go for data. They say that you go to collect data, you go to make generalization, okay, then you can give a theory, then you can say something about the society. So this is the structure functional approach. And what is the women's perspective? What is the feminist approach about India? What is feminist approach? How they are seeing India? This is another approach to look into the Indian society. They say that in India, a girl child is not permitted. They don't see the light of the day. They are killed in the womb of the mother. If accidentally she is born, she is not given the right to speech. Hmm? She don't have the right to decide what subject she will study or not. She can go to study or not. She don't have the she does not have the freedom to decide whether to whom she will marry. She cannot choose. Okay. And when she is once married, she don't have the choice to say decide whether she will carry a child or not. So we are talking about India. In India, women do the domestic work. At the same time, they do office work, but their domestic work is not recognized. She is not paid for it. She is going to officer. You know, uh, the officers in India, the women who have become the IPS officer, they will be called as Sahab, not Madam, because the mindset is patriarchal. The patriarchal mindset is fitting into the policing system. So they are called Sahab, not Madam. You see, they the women are being attacked, they are being raped, they are being molested, their sexual uh, things are being under the great supervision, under the great suspicion. Okay, so these things are mostly done with women. When a girl and a boy fall in love, hmm, and when for somehow this come in the light of the public, the boy is not being, subjected to criticism. The girl is greatly subjected to criticism. And when a married couple is divorced, the people think that it is the woman who is responsible for this divorce. Okay, uh, they are seen with certain kind of suspicion that if there is any deficiencies in the character, uh, it is with the women. A man is not responsible for it. The women don't have the right to property. For after so after a long battle, now they have got the legal right. But the current social setup, in actual they don't have right to property. Okay, because the socialization, the society is has been developed in patriarchal way. Okay, they don't have right to property, they don't have right to choose a man, they don't have right to choose uh, a husband. So when you see the India from a feminist perspective, you get a very different view of India from the Indological or the structure functionalist or the uh, other views. So Indological view gives a romantic view about India, a romantic cultural view about India. And the feminists discard it outrightly. They say that the culture, in the name of culture, the women has only been exploited. Okay, Lakshmi is sitting at the foot of Bhagwan Vishnu. Parvati is going for so much, so much sacrifice to get the Lord Shiva. Therefore, women stand for sacrifice. They only have done sacrifice. They have not got any kind of right. Women stand for service. They are only serving the men in the society. They don't have any right. Women stand for devotion. They will sacrifice everything, but they will not get any kind of right. Okay, so this is the feminist perspective to study India. Now, what is the Dalit perspective? The Dalit perspective is that India is a land of Brahmins. Brahmins have land, they have knowledge, they have enslaved us. Hmm? We are subjected to social exclusion, landlessness. We are doing all kind of dead end jobs. We were born as human beings, but we are living worse than the animals. So therefore, India is a pro-caste society. Brahmins justify untouchability, inhuman treatment to lower caste. Therefore, from India, a dead, stinking smell of caste system comes. So, the Brahmins who are pro caste, they justify ritualism, superstition. Hmm? This is the India that we have get. So India never ever gave way to human freedom, equality, justice. So don't glorify India. So now you see that there are different ways to understand India: the feminist perspective, Dalit perspective, Indological perspective, structure functionalist approach, and Marxist approach, and Occidental approach. So there are different perspectives. We cannot go into details of all those approaches. We cannot study India from all those perspectives. That's why we will limit us to three perspectives from which we are going to study India. The first is Indological, second is Marxist approach, and the third is structure functional approach. Okay, so these are the three approaches from which we are going to study India, and from here officially your second paper starts.